Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of EdTalks. Today I have a friend of mine, Josh Jewett. Josh, welcome to EdTalks.
Well, Ed, thanks for having me. It's great to see you.
So Josh and we first connected. We're both on the advisory board for a company called SmartSense, a really great company, and I'll put a link into that company. And we also did something similar with the CEO of SmartSense. Josh, I was really impressed with you and your background because SmartSense serves multiple industries, including healthcare, but also retail and pharma and things like that. And you and I were on a panel together, and then I just hear you talk, during the regular board meetings and stuff. And so impressed with your background. So you were, well, I'm not going to say what you were. I'll let you introduce yourself. Yeah, tell us about your career, some of the roles you had, including what you're doing today.
Well, sure. So, I mean, I've spent my whole career in retail. I was first a consultant to retailers, and after that, I became the chief information officer of Family Dollar. And after that, Family Dollar was acquired in 2015 by Dollar Tree, and I was asked to be the CIO of the combined company. So for 18 years, I ran technology for two large retailers, and that was on top of a 10-year career being a consultant to retailers about.
Yeah, that's great. And today, I know you're doing a lot of board advising. You sort of have your own consultancy, and you're also like an operating partner for like a PE firm or something, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'm an operating partner for New Road Capital Partners. It's a venture equity firm. So we invest in early stage technology companies that cater to retailers for supply chain, logistics, retail, and marketing tech. So I would have been the customer, the enterprise class buyer for a lot of the solutions that we invest in, we consider and we invest in. And my colleagues are all very much like me. They're all ex Fortune 500 executives representing different corporate functions. So it's a great team, and I really enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's really cool. Tell us one or two of the main drivers or strategies when you were the CIO for in retail. What were some of the, these strategies, values that were really important that you were all trying to get right for the consumers?
So at both Dollar Tree and Family Dollar, and for what it's worth, our direct competitors, the whole business model is about a combination of convenience and value, right? Everything that you could buy at a Family Dollar, you could buy at Walmart or you could buy at Walgreens. Why do you buy it at Family Dollar? Well, it's easy. It's a small store. It's easy to get in and out of the store. So it's a convenient shopping experience. Most customers spend like 10 minutes in the store and they buy three or four items. And that's a Walgreens business model too. But the difference is Walgreens tends to be more expensive because you're paying for convenience. In the case of a dollar store, you've got this nexus of convenience and value. So when I thought about technology investment for the business, and particularly for our customer, the folks that come in the store to buy products, I thought about how can technology make it more convenient and provide more value to the consumer. So everything that we did at store level was about reducing the friction in the point of sale transaction set. It was about reducing operating expenses in the store so we could sell the product at compelling, at low value of pricing. And we also tried to empower the store team with tool sets to once again improve the shopping experience for the consumer. We also created a consumer app that we were the first in our sector of retail to have a customer app that brought digital coupons to their personal phone that they could affect at the register. Once again, convenience, value. So that's very much how I thought about it, Ed.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I could already have a lot of questions and parallels for healthcare I'll get to in a second. But something you mentioned made me think about analytics. I mean, analytics must have been super critical for the success of your organizations.
Yeah, we did something like 2 billion point of sale transactions a year.
Wow.
And so, and we retained all that information for multiple years in the data warehouse at the basket level. So the merchants could drill into the lowest level of possible detail to understand the affinities between products, what customers are buying, the seasonality of items, how effective their strategies were for both the physical placement of the products in the stores, but also the pricing strategies and so forth. So how well our private label program was doing versus the national brand equivalent. So there's a lot of analytics that we got from the data, and we handled tons and
Yeah.
tons of data in order to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can only imagine. So, Josh, I know you weren't a CIO in healthcare, but as we established, you're the CIO on the retail side, but you're a consumer of healthcare. So I'm sure you and your family have had some interactions with healthcare systems around your life. wherever you've lived. I imagine you may have thought about it because I do. Like when I go to when I go to retail, I'm always thinking about, because of my background as a CIO, I'm always thinking about, oh, what would I do or what have I done? And or what opportunities are there? So I have the same sort of question for you, but on the reverse, right? You with this retail background, when you've interacted with healthcare, are there some things that you've thought about, like what healthcare might learn from retail?
Well, I would just bring up the same phrase again: convenience and value. When I interact with the healthcare system, medical system, that those are the experiences I enjoy the best. If I can have a relatively seamless onboarding experience to a new medical practice, if I can converse with my physician or healthcare provider electronically. In my own life, I prefer chat over 1-800 numbers, and so thinking about that, how do you carry that through the patient experience? To me, reducing friction of
Yeah,
the process for the patient. It certainly was true in retail. It improves customer satisfaction, but it also reduces expense in the
yeah,
process, and it I would think would produce a better outcome as well,
yeah.
and allow, once again, if it's cheaper, then the system should be able to process more transactions than it could otherwise. Eliminating that friction in the experience, I would think, would have a whole sort of 360-degree benefit to the patient as well as the system as well as the healthcare provider.
Yeah, you're spot on. And that's why oftentimes we would look to retail, in other industries outside of healthcare to see what's going on. Because even like the portal or the app you were talking about, you had established that many, many years ago, and we still have some health systems, still are struggling to get that right. And so it's great to learn from that sort of experience. So one last question for you, Josh. What sort of advice would you give someone who was a manager or director level, maybe in IT or tangential to IT, but ultimately wanted to grow to the next level? It might not be CIO, but maybe CIO or vice president. But what's one piece of advice that you would give someone who's looking to grow?
Oh, what a great question. Yeah, I have had to answer that question a bunch of times in my career. I'm sure you have as well. I think the best advice I try to give people is be the best team player that you can be at your level. Work effectively with your peer group, both inside IT and importantly outside of IT. The CIO position, any executive level in an IT organization, you're on two teams. You're on the IT team, but you're also on the business team.
Yeah,
And I think the people that advance the furthest in their career are the best team players, right? So it's like the old saying, it's amazing what you can get done if you don't care who gets credit.
yeah,
If you really focus on the team and there's no I in team, there's us, let's succeed together. How can I make somebody else successful with my efforts? That's leadership in my
yeah.
experience. That's successful leadership. And that usually gets recognized. If it doesn't get recognized at your current employer, it may get recognized at a different employer down the road. But I think that those are good traits to have and also make it for a more enjoyable workplace.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. And yeah, to your point, when you're a team player, you might not get recognized in terms of leadership immediately, right? Because you might have some flash person, that's just the individual performer, and so you got to play the long game. So don't be discouraged, right? Like continue to be that team player. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It'll definitely pay off long term. Well, Josh, I really appreciate you spending some time with us. It's always great, as I mentioned, to get fresh perspective from outside of healthcare and your points on the frictionless experience and also the ability to impact costs and reduce costs and improve quality as a result of all this stuff is just spot on for us. So thank you so much for being a guest on EdTalks.
Thanks a lot for having me. It's been a lot of fun.